Okay, so this is a week follow-up. We definitely see progress. There's less redness, so this is very, very good. And we're going to do the same manicure today as we did last week. So first I'm going to remove the polish, and I'm going to do this with pure acetone. And I like using pure acetone in many cases because I can see exactly the skin and what's going on and what cuticle is. And the skin is going to look more dry, which is okay because it's very temporary, so there's no problem with that. Okay, so I'm going to shape the nails first, just like last time. They've grown actually quite a bit, so I'm going to shorten them. Sometimes I don't know from the very beginning what kind of shape I want to do. I just start shaping it and then looking at the finger and then seeing what actually looks better. So I usually go from more of a squarish one to start rounding it off. So I think that looks very good. Double checking. Very good. When the manicures are done weekly, which I recommend, especially when people are doing their own manicures, once a week is a very good idea. There's not that much to do. You don't have to shorten the nails too much, so you don't really have to clip them. I rarely clip the nails. Actually, I don't clip the nails on the hands. I shorten them sometimes if I have to shorten them quite a bit. I use electric file for that. I find clipping sometimes can crack the nails when they are harder or when they are lacking flexibility. How's the shape and length? Good. Do you want them shorter? No? No? Good, okay. Okay, so now we are going to do the cuticle details. So I'm going to use this very gentle tool and I'm just going to push back the living skin very gently, and then after that we're going to remove the cuticle. So sometimes when the living skin, this is living skin here, it's not a cuticle, is a little bit harder and it's stuck to the nail. As the nail is growing, the skin is stretching, and this is what's happening sometimes. Usually when the skin is too dry and it's not elastic. But it just takes time for the skin to heal and get better. So, because if you start cutting it, you will never be able to stop the cutting. Well, you will be, but it's not going to get any better really over time. I used to do that, cut my skin around the nails, because that's what we used to do when I didn't know any better years ago. And now I don't, and I have nothing to cut now, which is great. But it's a process, it takes some time. So it's absolutely normal that we don't get to that perfect look in a week or two. Again, it depends. Some people have more of that skin, some people have less. For some people, even after 2-3 weeks. But I can feel that the skin is better this time. It's more elastic, so that's a good sign. And my client here is on a medication that is affecting her skin, so that's why the skin is probably a little bit harder. So we just have to be gentle, and I'm sure it's going to improve, because I can already see a difference in 1 week. Yeah, definitely. So I'm going to use electric file because I really like using it. This is the God's honest truth. And I know I can use it safely. But if you are doing your own manicures, then using a cuticle remover in that case would be a better idea. And just using creams containing urea as much as you can, because they really exfoliate the skin gently, and over time there's going to be less and less to worry about. So I'm using the machine on a very, very low speed. Just now removing the kind of invisible skin from the nail plate. And that's a cuticle that I'm removing. What I pushed back was living skin. So there's two skins on the nail. There's a living skin, and the technical name is proximal nail fold, and then there's a dead skin. Technical name is a cuticle, and it's cuticle, like skin, singular. So it's not cuticles, but it's cuticle, skin tissue cuticle. Yeah, this is definitely much, much better than last week. Wow, that's awesome. The skin was kind of broken up and it was a little bit raised. Now it's healing really nicely. So this is awesome. I really recommend taking pictures, and I forgot to take pictures with the previous manicure before pictures. But I do recommend taking pictures, because very often people miss a very slow progress, and they think they are not having progress, but they do. So it's good to take pictures and then compare. And if you have progress, then just keep doing what you're doing. Don't expect perfection. This is fantastic. This nail is so much better. Wow. Yeah, don't expect perfection. Trust the process, and it does happen. So I can really see when the skin is dry, I can really see what I'm doing here. And I can feel what I'm doing. I absolutely love doing these type of manicures. I really do. So what I'm doing here is I'm just giving the skin a little exfoliation. So I'm not trying to remove dry skin, because dry skin cannot be, and I know I repeat myself, but people keep asking why I leave dry skin behind. And I leave dry skin behind is because we cannot fix dry skin by filing. The dry skin, if there's dry skin, needs to be corrected with very gentle treatment. So it has to be corrected with using very gentle soaps. Cleansers, I prefer using very gentle cleansers, even facial cleansers for the hands. If you know people are washing their hands a lot, and then just using a drop of oil each time they wash their hands, because washing hands removes all the oils, and oils is what keeps the skin and the nails together. So when the oils are replaced, the skin can function properly and it can heal properly. But without it, it just falls apart, and you don't help the skin by filing it more. So what we're doing here is just a very light exfoliation, because the skin here, it's a little bit harder, but I'm not attempting to remove dry skin. So I'm just removing the cuticle, just giving the skin light exfoliation. And then the home care is where the magic happens as well. Okay, my poor client was picking the skin a little bit. It happens, stress happens in life. This will heal. Usually when I smooth the skin a little bit, then there is less temptation to pick. Because when it's really hard, it's very tempting to pick. And I know, because I used to bite my nails, I used to pick the skin, so I know how it goes. So I might just clip this one area a little bit later. For this type of skin, I find lanolin containing creams are very good for like an irritated skin. So actually nipple cream, apparently it's good. Because that's good for broken skin as well, when you think about it, right? For like sensitive skin. Very good. So much better. I'm so happy. It's hard to explain. The skin just feels different. There is more elasticity to it. It just sits nicer on the nail. And this is from Carousel. So the client has been using Carousel at night. Really, this is just a week's progress. So this is really good. buffer block just to the finer side, just to smooth the edges, the free edge especially. Very, very soft buffer. This is so amazing. The difference is so good. I love it. Love it, love it. I'm going to just wipe them with alcohol and we're going to apply polish, and then I'm going to apply cream and oil. You always have to make sure when you're cleaning the nails that you don't really dig underneath the nail too much, because this area is also sensitive. This is also a seal. So we have two seals. We have hyponychium, which is here, which seals the nail plate with the nail bed, with the finger. And the second seal is here. So that's why we have to be very careful with this area as well. So the cuticle is actually a seal between the proximal nail fold and the nail. So the fold is actually a fold. And then between the fold on the underneath side sheds cuticle tissue, and that tissue ends up moving with the nail as the nail is growing. So the tissue is that stuffing basically between the skin and the nail to protect the nail here, because the nail is growing and forming over here. So that's why we have to be very gentle with this area, because if you open this area, you are making this area susceptible to pathogens, right? So, and that can be quite dangerous because that's where the matrix is, that's where the root is. So if the root gets damaged permanently, especially, then the nail does not grow properly anymore. People can actually lose the nail. So that's why we have to be very gentle with this side and this side. Today we're going to be fancy. I just got my nail glow, and I'm going to do a video very soon comparing the nail glow to this product. So we'll see, because the other one is a little bit cheaper. Dior is super expensive, but I absolutely love Dior. That's my favorite. But I have to say the other one is pretty close, I think. And the reason why I like Dior is because it does not look too blue. Like the nails don't look too kind of weird. It gives them a nice brighter look, but without looking too like purple or blue. outside. And a lot of those products, they look very, very blue the first day and then they fade very fast. And Dior kind of seems to maintain that look. It still fades a little bit, but I find it maintains that nice and bright look a little bit longer. But I have to compare it side by side with the other one. And I also find with Dior, with a lot of my clients, it doesn't really chip. It kind of wears off, which is good. So it doesn't look bad when it's worn for a longer period of time. Dries super fast. Has a beautiful brush. I think it's worth it, but it is expensive. It's like 29 euros for nail polish. That's insane. But my clients deserve the best. That's my excuse. So usually by the time I'm done with this hand, the first hand is dry. So then I'm gonna apply oil.